Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to your Friday Delight. That is another wonderful episode of Dangerous Ideas by Roulette Productions, Solo Rant and Ramble. I'm your host, David Horton. You, of course, can find my written articles on rouletteproductions.com. You can find me on Facebook. You can find me on Twitter under same handle, at David Horton. Although my Facebook is generally not linked to my essentially professional activities, such as this and my slow as snail but still steady attempts to put out books, fictional books. So we're going to keep that pimping to a minimum, but please do check out rouletteproductions.com because besides having links to these videos that I post every Friday, for those people who are not subscribing to this YouTube channel, because there's a subscribe button down just below the video, like it is everywhere on YouTube. Please click the subscribe if you only like videos, but if you like written stuff, rouletteproductions.com is your home. I've got a nice archive of articles going back a few years now, mostly comic book reviews, some good video game stuff. I'm kind of in the process now that we're getting in the rhythm of this regular weekly video uploading of kind of separating the two, where like my writing's going to be for most of my comic book reviewing type stuff, and these live videos are going to be your movie non sequiturs, rambling type rants, movie reviews I meant to say, and then the rambling rants. So just keep working with us. My partner in crime, Rich, has recently posted a comic book review himself on that rouletteproductions.com website, so please check that out as well. He, of course, also does work on Twitch, which I'm in the process of trying to figure out, where I'll most likely stream classic, like 8-bit, 16-bit, NES, SNES era games, just because I'm old like that. But today, we're not going to talk about video games. I've been talking about video games. We're going to talk about pro wrestling because, yeah, I know, I did a huge rant on the Hall of Fame. Well, not really a rant, it was an educational thing, but I tend to call everything I do rambling rants because I don't claim to be the ultimate expert on anything. If you want to find the ultimate expert on wrestling history, I would suggest listening to Jim Cornette, who has two podcasts, Jim Cornette Experience and Jim Cornette's Drive-Thru. The Drive-Thru is your fan Q&A session for him. Wonderful if you are focused primarily on questions about the pro wrestling industry and specific wrestlers. The Experience is more of his free topic style show. But on my show, because this is not meant to be a video advertising Jim Cornette and Brian Last and all the stuff they do for wrestling, I'm going to talk about my wrestling opinions, and we're just going to have to address the elephant in the room, that is AEW, All Elite Wrestling. Now, as you can see right here, I have the Jacksonville Jaguars t-shirt. Those people who have followed the rouletteproductions.com website know that in various videos and articles I have discussed how I've been a fan of the Jacksonville Jaguars since day one. Well, currently the Jacksonville Jaguars are owned by the Khan family. That is Khan, not Con. In fact, there probably is an alternate way to say their surname or family name, depending on which term you prefer, that doesn't sound like I'm calling them con artists. But, you know what? Until Tony Khan calls me and tells me the best way to pronounce his name that makes him feel most comfortable, I'm just going to go with what I have always heard in my brain. But understand, I am not using the C-O-N word. I mean, no offense. I I have nothing against the Cons. Besides owning the Jacksonville Jaguars, they actually own a soccer team over in Europe. And give me just a second, I'm going to pull that name back up because I totally blanked on pulling this up ahead of time. Okay, they own Fulham FC, which competes in the Premier League, which is soccer or European football, depending on, again, which term you prefer and which country you're listening to this for. It is the top level of the English Football League system. It has 20 clubs competing in it. So, hey, again, 2 major sports teams in 2 major sports. Fulham FC has reached 2 major finals. They competed in the FA Cup final, losing 2-0 to West Ham United, and in 2000, and this was like back in 1975. So long time ago, early in the club's history, if I'm reading this history of Fulham FC right. And in 2010, they reached the finals of the UEFA Europa League, contested against Atletico Madrid, losing 2-1 after extra time or overtime, as we usually say here in my part of the world. But either term is equally valid. Whereas the Jacksonville Jaguars have often made the playoff, mostly as a wild card, a couple times as division leads, such as they were 2 years ago. They've never made it to the Super Bowl, but hey, as a loyal football fan, more power. Now the reason I'm talking about them is I'm setting up the point that the Cons run AEW, and there is a reason besides the fact that Tony Khan is a wrestling fan that they do so. Now the reason I do say the Khans plural is that Tony's father, Shahid Khan, again I hope I'm pronouncing that right, is also an investor in it, though. From what I understand of the press releases and everything I've seen so far, Tony is doing most of the day-to-day running of AEW, whereas Shahid is focusing more on the Jaguars and Fulham FC and the other businesses that he owns, including the automobile parts manufacturer Flex and Gate. So, you know, the guy's a very busy businessman. And for reference, for those of you who do like to get into ethnicity discussions, Khans are Pakistani Americans. So, Shahid himself was born in Lahore, Pakistan. Lahore. Again, not 100% sure on the pronunciation. Hopefully one day, one of these 2 men will be awesome enough to talk with me, and they can give me full pronunciation guides, and then we can talk about football. But he did immigrate to this country in 1967, so, you know, legalized immigrant, wonderful man, very successful businessman. But AEW is basically for those who are not following wrestling, the newest, hottest, big fad trend promotion. Mostly because it was started up by 4 gentlemen. This is Kenny Omega, brothers Matt and Nick Jackson, also known as in their professional wrestling world as the Young Bucks. How they can still be the Young Bucks when they're rapidly getting older and older, I don't know. Maybe eventually they'll just be the Bucks. And then the the Bucks. Personally, given their current status as high-level executives in AEW, I prefer the term just executive Bucks. Be honest with it, because you know, you get into this weird trickery of reality versus the fiction of the wrestling storyline, since they're also on-air characters. But anyway, the fourth pro wrestler who was behind AEW is Cody Rhodes, son of the late Dusty Rhodes, one of the most famous wrestlers in all of wrestling history. I'm pretty sure my viewers who are not even wrestling fans know Dusty Rhodes, the American Dream. Wrestled for decades in the NWA, WCW, a little bit in WWF/WWE. May he rest in peace. But he himself did a lot of wrestling promoting during his career. So certainly his son Cody, along with his older son Dustin, who is a half-brother to Cody, have picked up a little bit of Dad's promoting and booking genius when it comes to wrestling. We certainly hope so. But here's the thing about AEW that I want to address that makes this dangerous ideas. See, the thing is, if you go on social media, people love talking about AEW, even though they've only done one official show in the AEW banner. The same group of wrestlers put on a independent, one-off show called All In the previous year that basically served as a prototype for AEW, in that a lot of people that competed on All In were signed to AEW. It was led and put together by the same wrestlers. Frankly put, if All In had not been the massive financial success it was, having sold out in less than an hour, and doing great internet streaming numbers, I doubt the cons would have ever fronted the money so that AEW could get started. But here's the thing. As I was starting to say earlier, AEW has only just begun starting shows, and you've already got people swearing eternal devotion blood oaths. And this scares the shit out of me. Okay? Because they didn't do it after the first official show, AEW Double or Nothing, aired. They did it before Double or Nothing aired. They were doing it before AEW was officially announced. When the success of All In started the rumors going that, hey, you did it once, it was incredibly successful, why would you not do it again? Why would you not even potentially do it regularly? Because you've all stated you don't want to go work for WWE, who is the #1 company in the world. You've been working in the number 2, 3, and 4 organizations over the last several years, and you're kind of hitting the point where you've done everything you can do in those organizations. Yeah, a lot of people saw AEW coming before it was officially announced. Now, I want AEW to be successful. You know, just like I like the Jaguars to be successful. I want AEW to be successful because the more wrestling promotions there are, the better it is for the wrestling industry and the individual professional wrestlers. But I don't like it when anything has a core fan base that is devoted to something before it even technically exists as a concept. Just because of who's behind it creatively, they are building churches before there's anything to worship. Not to mention the fact that you're worshiping something that's not a deity, guiding you towards actual spiritual fulfillment. I mean, that's the whole cult thing, cult mentality. ECW did it in the 90s. Sticking with professional wrestling here, folks, because I am trying not to be too out there with this. ECW built a cult following. Paul Heyman built the idea that he wanted people to be fans of ECW, not of the wrestlers in ECW. Which is why if you ever watch old ECW footage, the fans always chant, ECW, ECW. They almost never chant for the individual wrestlers. Now, here's the thing. Yes, ECW is infamous in wrestling history. Yes, it launched the careers of several major wrestlers and revived the careers of some other wrestlers, but ECW financially struggled its entire existence. ECW went out of business within 10 years of going extreme and building that cult audience. That's the key here, folks. Appealing to a cult audience is going to limit you. You're going to be small. Like, leave the space in between my hands. Not this. This is WWE. You want to come even close to competing with this, you cannot be this. But because they already built a cult audience, a cult mindset, due to the infamy of the wrestlers who were the creative force behind the company, you can't have actual discussions about the quality of the show. There are people online who will tell you, if you are not 100% blown away by Double or Nothing, believe it's the greatest show ever put on, that this is proof we're about to enter a golden age of wrestling and everything else is inferior to Double or Nothing, then you hate wrestling. Well, no, it doesn't work like that. Just like, as much as I love WWE, as much as WWE has always been my core of what professional wrestling is and what I love about professional wrestling, and look, if you're pissed off at what WWE's been in the last several years, that's fine. You don't have to attack me. You don't have to tell me I'm an idiot for still watching WWE. We can have, because I don't care if you're not currently happy with WWE. You have the right to that opinion. I don't get personally offended if you don't like the same thing I do. And that's what I need AEW fans to understand. When they go online to spread the word of AEW, to help it grow, I need you fans. The wrestling industry needs you fans. AEW needs you fans to be rational, to be able to accept constructive criticism, to be able to accept the fact that what was shown at Double or Nothing, what is going to be shown at the other events that are going to air throughout the summer before the weekly television show on TNT starts in the fall, is not for everybody, and that does not make them bad fans. That does not make them not fans. Because there was a lot, frankly put, on Double or Nothing. And this is the part that's really going to get some hate here, folks. There was a lot on Double or Nothing that was some indie, carny bullshit. I'm sorry. Staple guns and the using of staple guns on human beings does not belong in any professional wrestling I want to financially support. Taking thinly veiled, if there was even an attempt to veil it, in all honesty, cheap shots at WWE and specific creative leaders in WWE, I'm looking at you, Cody Rhodes, is completely unnecessary. And I do not financially support something that's going to build their reputation on that. Be yourself. Be something great. You want me to financially support AEW? You want me to buy the t-shirt that says AEW? You want me to become fans of the individual wrestlers and the storylines? Here's the thing. When the bell rings, you need to present good, solid wrestling. I don't care about false finishes. I don't care how long the match lasts. Going over half an hour does not automatically make it a good match. Going an hour plus does not automatically make it a match of the year. What makes it work is that everything done in the match is done for a reason and pushes the narrative that professional wrestling within its fictional universe is a competitive combat sport. So any move you perform on your opponent should sell me on the fictional narrative that you are trying to beat up this other wrestler. I don't want to hear, "This is awesome, fight forever." I don't want to see choreographed ballet sequences. Look, it is awesome that you can sit there and at high speed bounce off the rope, do a 360 in midair, land on your feet while grabbing the guy and setting him up for an ace cutter. I mean, it's awesome. But if you're doing the spot just to show off that you're physically capable of doing the spot, you're not making me believe in the match. And if I don't believe in the match emotionally, if I don't believe you want to beat the shit out of this guy because you want to win, because you need to be champion, then I don't care how athletic your match looks. That is why I will always be excited when Brock Lesnar comes out, because Brock Lesnar walks out to that ring and he looks like he wants to break somebody in half when he grabs somebody up and suplexes them. When he F5s somebody, I believe he doesn't give a crap if that guy walks the next day. You don't have to be exactly like WWE, because that same mentality was in the old NWA. It's in New Japan Pro Wrestling. It's in the better matches in Ring of Honor. Make me believe in the fight. Because if it's not a fight, if it's just, hey, two guys are going to go out there and cooperate to put on a choreographed sequence of highly athletic moves that sometimes involve guys falling over or falling through objects like tables, then you're putting on a demonstration, and at that point you might as well film it at a wrestling academy and call it an educational film, because that's all it is. It's a demonstration. It's a market reel. If there's no fight, it's not professional wrestling. And if that opinion pisses you off, great, because if it pisses you off, that means somewhere in the back of your mind it struck a nerve. Everybody talks about, let's be different. Let's bring wrestling back to what it used to be. Well, guess what? What professional wrestling used to be was people making you believe in that moment, and this is a concept throughout fiction called suspension of disbelief, that they want to beat the piss out of each other. Look, if they're both baby faces, you can do the handshake after the match, okay? That's fine. But from bell to bell, I need to believe in the fight. That's what I need from my professional wrestling. If you can't make me believe these people are so competitive that even though they like each other before the bell, that they will put each other through physical hell to gain victory, or that because of personal storyline rivalries, they actually hate each other and are happy to get a chance to beat each other up, then guess what? You got nothing. You got nothing but gymnastics. And I can see that at the Olympics. So AEW, the ball is in your court. Show me something that makes me believe these guys are the toughest, meanest, most competitive people on the planet. And that those championships that you're debuting mean something because these men are willing to destroy each other for the chance to call themselves champions. That's what makes a championship value. And if you can't do that, then I'm sorry, but this is the only way Khan's getting ticket money for me. Tony, figure it out, man. Figure it out. Fan base, learn to take constructive criticism. Learn that you don't have to be personally offended if somebody doesn't agree with you. That's it. Tapping our toes on half an hour here. We've surpassed 20, so I'm out. I will see you next Friday. Until then, hey, peace out, because we're all humans. So, party on. Party with each other. Be here next week so we can all hang out again. Later.